This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Welcome back to another episode of How Will I Die presents Would I Survive with Nicholas Howe. It's me, Nicholas Howe, and today we're doing something a little special. Instead of focusing on one film today, I'm going to be looking at 3 entries from the Huluween Film Fest. That's Hulu's film festival for horror shorts, and this is going to be a 2-part episode. So part 1 focuses on the first 3, and then part 2 focuses on the next 4. And I just thought that this would be an interesting little take, because it's not going to be just talking about the deaths, but also a little bit of review. If you haven't seen the shorts I will be covering today are The Dunes, Flagged, and Hidden Mother. So if you haven't seen them, go and watch them, and then come back and listen and find out whether or not I would survive the situations that these people find themselves in. At the end of part 2, I will also be giving a ranking of them from 1 to 7. 7 being my least liked, and then number 1 is being my most liked, obviously. Let's jump into it with The Dunes. The Dunes opens up on a horror movie trope of the final girl running and falling and then being caught by her unseen assailant. But in this version, it's just a fun little race between the 2 main characters who are lovers, I guess. A third character, a old woman, is introduced who is literally the creepiest thing I've seen in a long while, and warns the girl that she should not be on the beach that they're at. That lady also pulls a disappearing act. The teens return to the car and the guy goes to go pee. The girl sitting in the car is requested out by the old woman who returns and hands her boyfriend's hand with an eye in the middle of it that this old lady has chopped off. We don't see the first death at all, except when the camera pans out and shows the boy's body. But on my usual scale of would survive, possibility of survival, and won't survive, I would give this a would survive, because an old lady could not take me in a fight. This is a proven fact. We don't see the girl's death because the movie cuts out, but it could be assumed that she dies from the old lady who is holding the car keys. So I'm going to say would survive again, because she's just an old lady, so kick her. In the next short, Flag, a 20-something girl joins what is essentially Facebook, but it's not Facebook legally, as a content reviewer, and gets stalked by an evil spirit. Since it's her first day on the job, obviously things have to go wrong. She shows up late, she parks in the wrong place, and she spills coffee on herself, because of course. But a lovely security guard helps her by allowing her to stay parked where she is. Not a death or anything, but I do want to say one of my favorite parts of this movie is the boss character, who's just such a huge nerd for no reason. So as she begins working, she goes through some content, and then there's a time skip, and it's later in the night. She approves a video of a man, and then the next video is of her front porch, as the man enters her home and kills her boyfriend, fiance person, giving us our first death of the film. On the scale, that death is a possibility of survival. I'm not sure exactly how the rules work for this spirit, but if someone comes into my home, you know I'm going to defend myself, even if my leg is broken like this man's. The video then cuts to the outside view of the office that she's in, where the lovely security guard from before faces off against the spirit and gets hacked to death by the spirit's axe. Technically, when we last see him, the guard is still alive, so possibility of survival, because even though he did get hacked up a little bit, some things are survivable. We don't get the girl's death because she dies off screen, but we do know that she died because the last scene of the film is a new job posting for her job. Since we don't actually get a death for this one, I'm going to say possibility of survival, because sometimes when you start a new job, you carry salt in your pocket, or maybe a rosary or a crucifix, and those are all proven ways to get rid of ghosts. The last film that we're looking at is called Hidden Mother, and it's an interesting look at a real-life thing because it opens with a woman whose husband has recently passed, opening a present from a friend, and that present is a picture of a baby. And there's a short little history lesson in there, in that sometimes mothers would dress in all black and hold their baby while the picture was taken in the old days, because it took so long. As the lady puts the gift, which was a Victorian picture frame with a Victorian picture of a baby in it, into her child's nursery, she does, I guess, lay the baby down to sleep, but the baby was already in bed and should have been asleep, and then I guess wakes up and makes no noise at all. There are some things in this short film that really are weird, but it is a short film, and it was made as a part of a film festival, so it gets a few passes. But that baby was fully awake, and there is no reason that it wouldn't be crying as its mom left and turned the light off. She gets spooked awake and fully believes that her husband, the dead one, is back as a ghost. Fully believes it, didn't see any ghostly activity other than a picture fell, and she immediately is like, John, my husband, who I love, you're back from the dead as a ghost. I'm okay with this. Anyway, she hears some spooky stuff out of the baby monitor and goes to check on her fully awake baby. A ghost, not the ghost of John, but the ghost of the mother in the photograph, attacks the woman and kills her in some manner, maybe by fear, I'm not quite sure. It's not really explained, but that's the first death in the movie, and I'm gonna say possibility of survival. It definitely hinges on, I think, gender for this one, or just parentage maybe. So I don't have any kids, and I'm not a woman who's lost her husband, so I'm gonna say I'm pretty safe. So possibility of survival. The baby, however, is a bit of a confusing thing, because it doesn't technically die, but it is sucked into the photograph and becomes a part of the photograph and is no longer on the mortal coil. So I'm going to count that as a death. So basically what I'm saying is this movie kills a baby. But also, I'm going to say would not survive on that one. Can't survive being sucked into a photograph. No matter what you try and do, there's nothing you can do, especially if you're a baby. And that's going to do it for this part 1 of Huluween 2019. Hope you guys enjoy it. Definitely go check out the shorts if you still haven't, because they're very good. And that's an unbiased opinion, which is normally what people with bias say, but I literally have no bias on it, so go check it out. You may have noticed that there was no middle section for this, because it's simply too short to have a middle section. So this is the quick things and stuff at the end. The first part, obviously, came out today. Next part 2 is coming out tomorrow. At some point this week, I will have a regular episode of How Will I Die? But mostly, I will be posting a bunch of Would I Survives until Halloween. Maybe I'll release a How Will I Die episode on Halloween. We'll see. But stick around and check it out is something that I guess someone that has something following what they were saying would say, but nothing is following this, so leave, I guess. And remember, death is coming, so why worry about the inevitable? Focus on the possibilities.
To hell